We're now going to start looking at what's called factoring. Factoring is the opposite of multiplication. So multiplication, we use the distributive property to multiply things in. So for example, we use the distributive property when we have something like this, and we take this 4 and we multiply it in. So we get 4x minus 16. We're going to now do the opposite, right? So we're given something like this, and our job is to go back to that. That's called factoring. Okay? So the way it works, so looking at example A, first off, I'm just going to put a parentheses here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these two numbers. I'm going to say, what is the largest number that divides into both of them? Would you guys agree 4 is the largest number that divides into both of them? So I'm going to pull out on the outside, I'm going to pull out this 4. I'm going to factor out a 4. Then I look at the two variable terms and I ask myself, what is the largest thing that divides into both of them? In this case, it's this. Both of them are divisible by x cubed. So I'm going to pull out that x cubed. So from there, we got to figure out what's on the inside. So I take 4x to the 4th and I divide it by 4x cubed. 4 divided by 4 is 1. X to the 4th divided by x to the 3rd is just x. Then I take 24 divided by 4, I get 6. X cubed divided by x cubed is 1. So that's our final answer on that one. In regards to that, do you have any questions? This is an expression, so there's no solving, right? There's no equal sign. We can't solve this. This is as far as we can go right now. We're going to use it to solve some equations in a little bit. Questions on that? Yeah.
Can you explain how you got the 4x cubed?
Sure. So the question was, how do we find the 4x cubed? So what you're doing when you're factoring is you're trying to pull out the greatest common factor, the GCF, out of both terms. So the first thing we do is we ask ourselves, what is the largest number that divides into both of them? 4 is the biggest thing that goes into both of them. Okay? Then we look at the variables and we say, what is the largest power of the variable that goes into both of them? It's always going to end up being the variable with the smallest exponent. That's going to be the biggest thing that goes into both. So we pull that out and then we divide. And you can check yourself, which is really nice. Obviously, don't do it as part of your answer, but you could do it as scratch work. So 4x cubed times x is 4x to the 4th. 4x cubed times 6 is 24x cubed. So it's a nice quick check for you. Okay? Why don't you do B? Okay. Somebody help us out. Let's just start with the number. What is the largest number that goes into both of these? What do we got? What is the largest number? What do you got? 8. Okay. So I'm going to pull out an 8. What is the highest power of y that pulls out of both of these? What do we got? Someone help us out. Y. Okay. So let's see what we're left with. So 8y squared divided by 8y is just going to be y. 24y divided by 8y is just 3. Let's check it real quick. 8y times y, 8y squared. 8y times negative 3, negative 24y. Perfect. Questions on that?
So you divide to get inside the parentheses, you just divide.
Yep. So the question was asked, in order to get the inside of the parentheses, what do we do? And we are taking this and dividing it into both terms. Okay, let's use this for an equation. So if you could get down to example 4a. Okay, so I want you to notice right now, we can't solve this because it's not, we want to use the zero product property, but we have two things put together through addition. Do not, well, I will show you what not to do in a minute. Let's show you what to do first. So I want to use, you always want to use a zero product property. So if one side is not set equal to zero, set it equal to zero using algebra. But in this case, we're good. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull out the greatest common factor just like we were doing in example 3. So see if you agree with me. 2 is the largest number that goes into both of them. X is the biggest number that goes into, or variable, the highest power variable that goes into both. 2x squared divided by 2x is x. 8x divided by 2x is 4. From here, notice we are right back to our zero product property. Something times something equals 0, and we can solve. So either 2x equals 0 or x plus 4 equals 0. So we get x equals 0, x equals -4. We could then plug those numbers in to check. They are going to work. The most common mistake the students make, please don't do this. Please, please, please. I get students who go, oh, that must mean either 2x squared equals 0 or 8x equals 0. But would you guys agree? These are put together through addition. It's called the zero product multiplication property, so it doesn't work. Questions on that? Let's look at B. So, reminder, in order to use the zero product property, one of the sides, it doesn't matter which, has to be equal to 0. So what I want you to do before you try doing anything, set one side equal to 0. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll be subtracting 15n from both sides. That way the right-hand side will be equal to 0. Once you've done that, see if you can finish it on your own. Okay, let's see what we got. So currently I can't use the zero product property because I don't even have a 0. So I'm going to subtract 15n from both sides. So I get 6n squared minus 15n equals 0. Now we're back to what we did in the last example. I think you guys would agree. 3 is the largest number that goes into both. N is the highest power of the variable. So we get 2n minus 5. From there, either 3n equals 0 or 2n minus 5 equals 0, which is going to leave us with either n equals 0 or 2n minus 5 equals 0, 2n equals 5, n equals 5 halves. So our answers are 0, 5 halves.